Good morning, everybody. It is the Cancer full moon today, and we are going to talk about it. Guys, I even made you a slideshow. Look at this. Here it is. Ka-chow. Yes. Today is the Cancer full moon, and this is, I don't know, a moderately big deal, I mean, we have full moons once a month, sometimes twice a month, because it's every 28 days. We have 13 full moons per year. Um, but uh, every single one impacts us in a serious way. Um, they're not so uncommon, of course, but they are still an integral part of our lives as human beings. The lunar cycles impact our sleep and the mating cycle of parasites. This is something I always am talking about. All humans have parasites. And all of our parasites mate on the full moon, and that is what is going to make us all want carbs and sugar. One of my friends reached out to say that this year she put it in her phone, all the full moons of the year, because every single time I've ever posted, guys, it's the full moon today, don't eat the candy. She was eating candy when she read it. And that is how it is. If you're not mindful of these lunar cycles, you will just be their victim. And you will just mindlessly go out there and chomp that candy and feed those parasites and give them more control over your life. And you do not want to do that. They mess with your digestion, they mess with your brain function, they mess with your emotions. They mess with everything, and we don't have to play that game. Um, okay, I wrote these notes here for myself. Parasite chemical secretion. Um, is, so parasites, when they are hungry, they will secrete out little chemicals like their own hormones that trigger our hunger. So a lot of times during these different lunar cycles, you're not actually hungry. You actually don't want candy. Your parasites want candy, and they sent you those signals that said, hey, eat some candy. And it is a lie. Okay, so just ignore it. When you ignore their call for candy, a lot of times, if you ignore it for too long, say a couple of days, they will start to die. And when you have that thing called the keto flu, if you've ever heard of that, you cut out all carbs and sugar and you start feeling horrific. You get headaches, you feel sick. It's not because you get a headache from not eating sugar. It's because the parasites are dying. And when they die, they secrete a thing called gliotoxin, which your body, so they secrete gliotoxin almost immediately. It transforms into formaldehyde, which is so toxic to all of your cells. It triggers cellular death, also known as apoptosis. And that is what causes your headache. It's because your cells are dying because your parasites are dying. And when they explode, they poison the cells around them. That's like basically what is happening. So that has nothing to do with the full moon. I mean, it kind of does, but now you know. Um, say no to the sugar. If you start getting a headache, take what's called a binder. I love TRS, the nanoclinoptilolite zeolite spray that I'm crazy about. That will detox all that formaldehyde before it becomes a problem. You can take bentonite clay, you can take activated charcoal, something like that. Taking an Epsom salt bath is a good idea. If you're going to give up the carbs and sugar and you know that you're going to get a little headache or something along with it, uh, taking a binder is gonna be your best bet to let those parasites die as comfortably as possible for you. Now, I also wrote here hormone reset because the lunar cycle allows for all, particularly women, to reset our cycles. And there is a really interesting book called The Garden of Fertility, and it talks about how uh, if you have a lot of hormone problems, if you make sure that your room is absolutely pitch black, you cannot see your hand in front of your face, every single night of the month except for the 3 days of the full moon, during which time you plug in a little like nightlight into your wall to mimic the light of the full moon, it will reset your cycle. So that book is called Garden of Fertility. Go check it out. All of that is to say, lunar cycles are real. They do impact your body. They impact your body in a serious way, and working with them can change your life on a physical level. But today we're also going to talk about the spiritual level that we're dealing with. The full moon happens when the moon is absolutely as far away from the sun as possible. So they are like actually, sorry, putting on my video. Ah, okay, here we go. So instead of, they're going around the earth, and the full moon is when they're all the way across from each other. And that way the moon is reflecting as much sunlight as possible. Okay. In the context of the zodiac, it means that the sun and the moon are occupying opposite ends of the zodiac, where sometimes they're like not that far apart, sometimes they're right on top of each other. With the full moon, they are diametrically opposed. And when that happens, that whole axis of the zodiac is kind of like triggered, and everybody who's got a bunch of stuff on either end of that is going to have a lot of things come up. Whether or not you have a lot of things in those areas of the zodiac, if you're a human being, you have all 12 signs represented within yourself, and stuff is going to come up for you in that realm of the zodiac for you. And what it looks like for you is going to be different depending on your own birth sign and your own birth chart, all the things going on in your chart. Every full moon throughout the year takes place on a different axis. Okay. So it kind of like goes like this. Okay. And so every single year we get to address the physical and emotional and spiritual themes with each axis of the zodiac. So that's like very exciting. Full moons are times to let things go, because this is when your sun, which is your core self, and your moon, the emotional side, are absolutely as far apart as they can get. So it's a perfect time to kind of like fling away from yourself the stuff that is not working for you anymore. This is just a powerful time to let things go, any kind of thing. So today, January 13th of 2025, we have the wolf moon in Cancer. And I was like reading up about this. The January full moon is called the wolf moon, but it was basically made up in the 1930s to sell almanacs. Like, yes, there are some indigenous peoples across the world that have called this the wolf moon, at least one set, but there's like, for every tribe that has existed, they had a different name for this moon. So that kind of makes me feel better, because I think the next full moon is called the pink worm moon, which is like pretty weird. Like they all have kind of weird names, and I've been sitting there like, is this, how deeply significant is this? It's basically not. I mean, like it kind of is, but really, for as many people as have existed, all these moons had different names that had meaning to those people, and that is great. But really, this is about selling almanacs as far as I can tell. So anyways, it's the most important thing is that it's the full moon in Cancer. That's what we really need to know. The full moon on the Capricorn Cancer axis invites us to look within at Cancer and Capricorn themes and let go of what is not working for us. So what are the themes of Cancer and Capricorn? Cancer and Capricorn are the mother and the father of the chart, respectively. So Cancer is going to represent the mother, with home and tribe and family, intuition, especially mother's intuition. Cancer is the sign that is ruled by the moon, which governs intuition, and those like feminine cycles, right? Like physical cycles. It's got a lot to do with nurturing, mothering, motherhood, our relationships with our mothers. Um, I'm just gonna say, as I'm speaking about it, I can like hear all those male cancers being like, well, but I'm a man, this doesn't sound very masculine. You can definitely have Cancer showing up in a very, very masculine way, but it will still have these themes of home, tribe. It will make you more of like a patriarch, obviously than like a matriarch, but it leads to a very home-centered, family-centered kind of energy. Men with a lot of Cancer may really like to be with their home and family. These are men who, even in this age where marriage is really optional, these are men that are still going to want to go out and get married when a lot of other men just don't feel like they want to. That kind of thing. Now, Capricorn represents father, authority, especially authority running the family and the tribe, providing for the tribe. It represents the economy, government, and the father's logic, in contrast to the mother's intuition. And so how does this look for women? It's going to probably drive, women with a lot of Capricorn in them have a big logical streak. They can be very, very practical. They can really tend to button down, or like, that was probably not the right word for it, but like button up their emotions, like keeping their emotions in, to be practical, really into practicality, really into reputation. People, both men and women with a lot of Capricorn, tend to dress very well because they understand the power of reputation. Capricorn really has a lot to do with your reputation to the outside world. Where Cancer really cares about what's going on the inside world of the family, Capricorn wants to represent the family to the outside world, and they want to represent it really well. And that is true for both men and women. Now, when the nodal path, so remember, we just had a big nodal axis shift, and I just talked about this a couple of days ago because this just happened 2 days ago as of this recording. Right now, our nodal axis just shifted to the Virgo Pisces axis, but way back in 2020, we had a nodal path from Capricorn to Cancer. Okay, the same axis that we're dealing with today with this full moon. When the nodal path was from Capricorn to Cancer back in 2020, we saw people moving away from Capricorn, government, the workplace, working outside the home, even respect for authority, and we moved it towards Cancer, the home, the tribe, the intuition, the family, okay? People were told to work from home, going from Capricorn to Cancer. They were told to just stay home and not work. They, in my church, they released a big program for home-centered learning where instead of 3 hours at church, they cut it down to 2 hours at church and said, really, your learning should be at home. And then like shortly thereafter, the whole world shut down. This is all Capricorn to Cancer energy showing up in a whole bunch of different ways. We had to learn from home. All the kids came home and learned at home instead of at school. So we can really see how that nodal axis played out in a big way. And today is like a mini version of those kinds of energies. It's a call for us to take a look at this balance between work and home, father and mother, masculine, feminine, our internal world versus the face that we're putting out to the world, and what do we look like to other people. Today we get to really sit down and think about this and decide what we want to let go of. Okay, that's what today is all about. What do we want to let go of? And we're going to talk about how to let go of it, but these are some thought questions that I wanted to bring to our attention today. One, how is your work-family balance, and where do you need to adjust it? How is your balance between logic and intuition with your family? How is it with your work? Okay, when it comes to dealing with your family, are you sticking strictly to these like logical steps, or are you listening to your intuition and the voice of God? And remember that this is not an either or thing. We need both. We need logic and we need the spiritual connectivity, and we get to hear the word of God making sense in our heart and in our mind and in our heart. Okay, and that is allowed. So where can we improve our balance there in all the different areas of our lives? Where do you need to feel more nurtured? Where are you feeling spread thin because you are not receiving nurturing? Where do you need to nurture other people more? Where do you need to feel more provided for? Where are you not receiving provision? And where do you need to provide more for others? Where do you need to step up in providing whatever to someone? Where might you have big feelings because you feel like other people are not providing more for you? And then what lies do you tell yourself about Cancer and Capricorn themes? Let's talk about that. This is a good place to pause. If you are a journaling type, I would journal on all of these questions. I saw a Instagram reel about this exercise the other day. Loved it. You take a piece of paper and you write down the lies I tell myself. Okay. And then you go down the piece of paper and you just write down all the lies that you tell yourself. And you just kind of say, okay, Heavenly Father, tell me the lies that I'm telling myself. And you just write them all down. And so this is an exercise that I wanted to invite us to do today. What are the lies that we tell ourselves about motherhood, about fatherhood, about nurturing, about provision, about work, home, relationships, the economy, the government, and your tribe, and yourself in the context of all of these things, okay? Today is a great day to assess the lies that you have carried with you unnecessarily, because you have a lot of support right now to let them go if you want to. And even if you're not ready to let them go, just becoming aware of them helps you think differently, and it just makes your life so much better and so much easier when you're aware awareness is the first step, but it really is. So I wanted to invite you to free write about this, say that little prayer, take out that piece of paper, write down those lies, and then after you have written down those lies that you tell yourself, ask God what replacement ideas or beliefs or concepts God thinks that you should be considering instead. And just write those down so that you can see, the difference, You can see what is there and what could be there instead. So, the full moon is all about letting stuff go. Whatever is in your life that you're ready to let go of right now, it does not have to be a complicated or difficult process. It really doesn't. Sometimes letting things go is very hard. Um, the full moon, I mean, my goal with working with the full moon is never to have it take a lot of time. I don't want it to be a big to do. I would not say I have like full moon rituals or any of that kind of thing. Like, no problem. I'm cool with it if you do. I don't have time for that. I am too busy for that. So, the best I can do is maybe if I remember, do something like this, and that's all I got in me. So that's okay. If that's all you got in you, that's okay. It will still get the job done, or at least get the job started. I love to just write down what I want to let go of on a piece of paper and then rip it up or throw it away. That's it. What do I want to let go of? I want to let go of the lie that I don't deserve to be nurtured. I want to let go of the lie that I don't deserve provision. I'm going to let go of the lie that um, I'm a victim of whatever. I'm a victim of the government. I'm a victim of the economy, whatever. You write down the lies. You say, I'm letting this stuff go. Rip it up, throw it away. Um, that's it. You don't have to emotionally let go of it in this moment. If you want to, you can try, you could scribble it out and see if that got you to a new space emotionally. But during the full moon, it's the power of your decision to let it go that's going to be really amplified. And so what I love to do is we're going to just choose to let that stuff go. Let it go. If you want to, you could take a picture of the stuff you want to let go and then like email it to yourself for 6 months from now and then like check in. Did I let this stuff go? Where have I shifted with this? And you may find that things just naturally shifted for you and helped you let it go faster than you thought you could. So you will see for yourself over time how the decisions and choices you make now come to fruition over months in the future. So we are not looking for huge radical change in this exact moment. What we're doing is we're picking up the pruning shears and we're just deciding what we're going to prune and saying, I'm going to prune that. I'm going to prune that. I'm going to prune that. And then we're just going to trust the process that God and the universe are going to be bringing in these organic situations to us that are going to help us let go of these things, kind of whether we like it or not. But it's all in honor of our own agency, our own power of choice that we have chosen to engage with this process. We're choosing to let things go, even if they're not comfortable. Anytime we are letting go of a long-standing belief program in our mind, it is usually not comfortable to let it go. And the situations that show up for us to say, hey, buddy, you got this wrong. You're thinking about this the wrong way. When those situations come up to really force us to renegotiate with how we see the world, it's usually not very fun, but it does not have to be horrible. That is what it is. We go into it knowing that we might get a little uncomfortable, but it's okay. It is safe to be uncomfortable as we are negotiating with this process. These are some recommended sessions for today. I run allieduzettclasses.com, and all of these sessions are guided imagery sessions. I think most of them are available by donation, like you just pick the price point that works for you. Birth trauma is free if you get like 15 EP points, I think birth trauma opens up. And that's not about you giving birth, it's about being born. I had a man be like, I don't need that. I'm not a woman. I don't give birth. I'm like, well, it's not about that. You were born, so you need that session. Um, this is why I selected these. The abandonment session is going to be really helpful along with childhood trauma because of that Cancer energy that we are all dealing with right now, which deals with home and mother. And were we abandoned emotionally or physically by our mothers? Do we have significant childhood trauma because of our mother experiences as children? Birth trauma, of course. So Cancer, mother, I don't know. Birth trauma fits perfectly. Accepting assistance, doing what's important, and getting things done are all going to help us on that Capricorn part of this axis, where Capricorn, um, it does get the job done. It likes to prioritize things and be really logical about it. And sometimes it can really struggle with allowing other people to help. So if you know that for yourself that you have a hard time allowing other people to help you, accepting assistance is going to be a really helpful session for you. Doing what's important is going to help you kind of restructure your brain. I I made that session because a lot of times, have you ever done this where you have like all these things to do and the stuff that's like really important, you're like, I've got to do that important stuff, but first I better clean my room, but first I better do my eyebrows, but first I better, and then you start like doing all this unimportant stuff. Doing what's important helps us like get that stuff out of our brain that is trying to distract us from the important stuff with the unimportant stuff. It helps us to actually accomplish the important stuff and prioritize what is important and then actually do it. Getting things done is a little bit adjacent to that. That's for when you know you have a lot to do and you aren't even doing the unimportant stuff. It's just like I can't even do any of it. That's when you want to do the getting things done session. And both of those are especially great if you have a particular project or something of that nature that has to get done and you're really struggling with it. Those are two sessions that I would recommend, whether that's like writing a dissertation or thesis or, deep cleaning your garage or um, doing, I don't know, some kind of work project, whatever you got going on. Those are the two that I think are going to be really, really helpful to you. So, finally, I'm going to invite you to sit with the full moon. It's freezing outside. For me, it's snowing outside. When I took the kids to school, it was 23 degrees, which is pretty cold to me. Um, so I'm not sure if I will personally be sitting outside with the full moon tonight, but we'll see. It can be nice to just stand outside under the light of the full moon and just let the light shine on your body and kind of reset you that way. What a beautiful way to enjoy the beauty of the sun through the power of the moon, right? Like the sun's reflected light upon us. I just think it's so beautiful. So that's an invitation. If you want to be really cold, or maybe if you're in a warm climate, go stand outside in the light of the moon tonight. Let the light reset your soul on a Cancer and Capricorn level. And as you stand under that light, just imagine it washing you out, cleaning out what doesn't need to be there anymore. Breathe in an upgrade to that Cancer and Capricorn axis in your own soul. And that's it. Okay. I hope this is really helpful, guys. Happy full moon to you and have a great day.